Let's talk about some of the prior lack of quality, if I can say it in a sort of slightly brutal manner to you, Phil, because there is this worry about Redfall in particular, and what ultimately have been the lessons you learned from what many might see as a kind of flop when it was introduced a month or so ago. How are you going to differently support your own game studios on the back of that?
Yeah, we came off a...
Did you know that Microsoft was ready to spend Sony out of business to strengthen Xbox? But Sony isn't backing down, with their CEO suggesting they may withhold future console information from Activision if Microsoft's acquisition goes through. And amidst all this, a massive Steam Deck update is aiming to unify the entire Steam ecosystem. We're diving into all this and more, so stick around for the full scoop. Booty stated in a December 2019 email that Microsoft was in a unique position to outspend Sony, potentially spending $2 billion or $3 billion in 2020 to avoid competitors getting ahead in content at a later date. He also mentioned that it was practically impossible for anyone to start a new video streaming service at scale at that point, referencing competitors like Google, Amazon, and Sony. Microsoft argues that the email is old and that it never pursued such a strategy anyway. The email is part of a thread discussing Xbox Game Pass, with the rest of the chain redacted. Sony Interactive Entertainment's CEO, Jim Ryan, has expressed concerns that if the acquisition is approved, Sony may stop sharing information about future consoles with Activision, fearing that Microsoft could gain access to PlayStation's confidential information. While Sony is worried about Microsoft making major game franchises exclusive to Xbox, Ryan's concerns suggest that Sony expects Microsoft to continue releasing these games on PlayStation, which contradicts their opposition to the deal. So what does all of this mean for us gamers? Here's my 2 cents on the matter. From a business standpoint, Microsoft's strategy, as revealed in the 2019 email, shows a clear intent to dominate the gaming industry by acquiring significant game content. This aggressive strategy could potentially reshape the industry, giving Microsoft a significant competitive advantage. The acquisitions of Bethesda and the proposed Activision Blizzard deal are clear indications of this strategy in action. However, it's important to note that such a strategy isn't without risks. Regulatory scrutiny is a significant hurdle, as seen with the FTC versus Microsoft hearing. There's also the risk of alienating other players in the industry, as evidenced by Sony's reaction. Sony's stance on potentially withholding future console information from Activision if Microsoft's acquisition goes through is a clear demonstration of strategic business moves. Companies often go to great lengths to protect their proprietary information in competitive environments. This leads us to the second point, the complex dynamics of the gaming industry. It's a world where companies are both competitors and collaborators. Sony's concerns about Microsoft's potential exclusivity contrast with the current reality where Sony-owned games are available on Xbox. This dichotomy highlights the intricate and often contradictory relationships within the industry. Which brings us to our third insight, the regulatory challenges in the tech industry. Large acquisitions like Microsoft's proposed purchase of Activision Blizzard often raise concerns about competition and market dominance. Finally, we must consider the impact on the gaming community. The decisions made by these companies will ultimately affect gamers. The potential for exclusive games or the withholding of games from certain platforms could limit choice for gamers, altering the landscape of the gaming industry. What do you think about Microsoft's strategy to outspend Sony and dominate the gaming industry? Do you think this aggressive acquisition strategy is good for the gaming industry and gamers?
It makes it excited for us that we've succeeded with what we've done, but we're even more excited with where we're going to be able to go in the future.
While the gaming industry is buzzing with the strategic maneuvers of giants like Microsoft and Sony, there are also exciting developments happening on the technological front. Valve's handheld gaming device, the Steam Deck, is a prime example of this, with its latest update aiming to bring unity to the entire Steam ecosystem. This isn't just an update, it's an upgrade, introducing a suite of new features and improvements that enhance the user experience. From enhanced notifications to improved performance of dual trackpad typing in the virtual keyboard, the Steam Deck is becoming more user-friendly and efficient. One of the standout features of this update is the comprehensive overhaul of the desktop mode UI. This revamp is designed to create a seamless experience across the entire Steam ecosystem, from desktop and big picture mode to Steam Deck and mobile. A handy new feature, the Notes section, has also been introduced, providing users with a convenient way to compile and quickly reference game-related information from the overlay. In other gaming news, The Last of Us Part 1 has now been verified for the Steam Deck, following a series of updates to resolve various issues. Isn't it thrilling to have The Last of Us Part 1 playable on the Steam Deck? It does make one wonder, though, why Sony hasn't ventured into creating a new PSP device.